Hi guys, welcome to another episode of the Gist Me the Bible Stories brought to you by Universal As always, I'm your storyteller, Yossi, and in this episode I'm going to be talking about some of the amazing miracles that God did for the children of Israel as they were journeying through the wilderness to the promised land of Canaan. Now, before I get started, if you're new to this platform, please ensure that you subscribe to this channel and click the notification bell to get notified when we release a new video. Alright, let's get to the gist of the day. In the last episode, we saw how God showed his mighty power to the Egyptians and how Pharaoh and his horsemen were drowned in the Red Sea. Now, moving off from there, the Israelites were journeying through the wilderness and they were going for about 3 days without water. Now, they finally got to a place with water, but the water was not drinkable. And so the people started grumbling. What are we going to drink, Moses? What's going on? We want water. So Moses cut a small tree and threw it into the water, and the water became drinkable for all of them to enjoy. Now God told Moses to tell them that if they would obey him and follow his commandments, then none of the diseases and plagues that fell on the Egyptians will befall them. So all they had to do was simply obey and follow the instructions of God. Simple. Later on, the Israelites journeyed and got to a place with 12 springs, and so they camped there and stayed there for a little over a month. Now, since they were at a place with 12 springs, it meant that they had a lot of water, but the problem was that they had no food, and so the Israelites started complaining again. Oh, Moses, you should have just left us in Egypt. At least in Egypt, although we were slaves, we had a lot of food to eat. Every night we had a pot full of meat and a lot of bread to eat. This is ridiculous. We are hungry. They kept on complaining and complaining. So Moses went to God to tell him about the complaints of his children. Answer your children, they are complaining about food. And so God said he was going to rain down food for them, but he said that he was going to use this as a test to see if they will follow his instructions. Now, the simple instruction was that they should only take the portion that will serve them for a day, for the first 5 days, but on the 6th day, they should take the portion that will serve them for 2 days. A very simple instruction. Now, Moses went to meet the people to inform them about what God said, and it was like, see, you guys are not complaining against me. You're complaining against God, and God has heard you and said he's going to rain down food for you from heaven. And so he gave them the instructions that God told him to tell them to abide by, and it was just very simple for them to obey. So he told them that that night God was going to provide them with meat, and that in the morning he was going to provide them with food. Now that night God sent quails to provide food for the Israelites to eat. Now in the morning they realized that the whole place was full of heavy dew. Now they gathered the dew and they realized that, it tasted sweet. It tasted like wafers sweetened with honey. And they were like, this is food. Just as God instructed, just as God said he would do. He rained down food for them to eat. And he did that every day for 40 years that they were in the wilderness. Every day, for 5 days, he rained down the portion that would serve them for just 1 day. But on the 6th day, he rained down the portion that would serve them for the 6th day and the 7th day. Now, this food was nothing like they had ever seen before, and they did not know what to call it. So they named it manna, meaning, what is it? Now let's talk about how amazing that food was. The miracle was that God rained down food for them from heaven. Now some people refused to obey the instructions of God, and instead of saving the portion that will serve them for a day, they will save a portion that will serve them for 2 days. Now one thing that happened was that by the next day, whatever they had saved up would have already turned rotten with lots of maggots. But on the 6th day, because God has allowed them to save double portion that will serve them for the 6th day and 7th day, when they saved double portions like that, by the next day, which was the 7th day, the food will still be good. There will not be any rot or maggots. Now, after they left that place with 12 springs and they were journeying through the wilderness towards the Mount Sinai, they got really thirsty, and so they were complaining again, oh, we want water. Why is there no water? In Egypt, we had a lot of water. And they just kept on complaining and complaining and complaining, and it was just annoying. Now, by this time, you would expect that the Israelites would have looked at all the amazing miracles that God had had done for them. I mean, he parted the Red Sea, he provided food for them from heaven, he sent quails to send them meat. I mean, they should have gotten the memo right now to know that all they needed to do was just pray to God and ask him to provide for them. Simple, as opposed to just complaining and nagging and always saying that they were better off in Egypt, which was not true. Now Moses cried to the Lord and was like, God, what am I to do with these people? I mean, they are going to stone me. It's already getting to that. Please, provide water for them. They want water to drink. And so God then told Moses that he should take his staff and stand in front of the rock, and he should bring along the elders of the Israelites, that they should stand there as well, and that he, God, would stand in front of the rock, and when Moses would strike it, the rock would bring out water. And so Moses did as the Lord said. And so Moses struck the rock and it gushed out water, and the Israelites gathered there to drink. Now the water was enough for the people and their livestock as well. In the same location, the people of Amalek attacked the Israelites. Now Joshua gathered the men for battle, whereas Moses stood upon the hill. Now Moses raised up his hands up high, and anytime Moses' hand was up high, the people of Israel got victory. But whenever his hands got tired and he went down, then the Amalekites began to win. We could see that although Joshua and his men were at the forefront of the battle, Moses was controlling things in the spiritual. Now, as the battle was going on for long, Moses got tired. I mean, how long can you keep your hands up high? Now, Aaron and Hur helped Moses to sit on a stone. Now, they supported his arms up high. Aaron took one hand and Hur took the other hand. And so they helped him raise his hands up high so that they can constantly, stay in a state of victory, so that they can finally, defeat the Amalekites. And it was so. The battle went on until sundown, and the Israelites gained victory. Now Moses built a monument at that place and called it the Lord my banner. Now we can learn a lot of things from this story, one of which is that we need to trust God to meet our needs. Now we should not be like the Israelites who were always complaining and nagging because their needs were not being met. Instead, we should be mature like Moses to go meet God about our needs and trust him to provide them. So whenever we feel like something is not being met and we are experiencing any form of lack, all we need to do is just pray to God and tell him about it and trust him to fix it at his own appointed time and in his perfect way. So yes, we have prayed and we have faith that we have gotten victory, but we need to back up our faith with works and do what is needed for us to do. That is for us to, physically engage in that battle as well. So if you're looking for a job, yes, you're praying for a job, but you also need to apply for a job. You also need to, brush up your CV. You also need to learn whatever skill that you need to learn and all of that great stuff. So it is that good synergy between the spirit and our physical works. So they have to be in alignment in order for us to gain total victory and bring the victory from the spiritual realm into manifestation in the physical. I hope this video has been of a blessing to you. If so, ensure that you subscribe to this channel, click the notification bell to get notified when we release a new video, and of course like this video and share with your friends and family so that they can join the Universal Scroll family. We love you all and would like to see you in the next video. Until then, we can hang out on our social media pages on Instagram, Facebook and Twitter. Love you all and have a great day. Bye.